Welcome to Toffee Blue View, your source for all things Everton. As you may notice, I'm not Jerry. Jerry's pulled a Michael Keane. He said he was feeling a bit unwell in the warm-up, and Captain Reliable, Phil Jagielka, Tom over there, he stepped in at the last 20 minutes. He stepped in and he's filling the post. How are you, Tom? Mate, it's been a while.
Not too bad. Hopefully I'll have as good a performance as Phil Jagielka on the weekend, but yeah, not too much of it. I've missed it, to be honest. I haven't done a video like this for ages. I've done a few with the old guest and that, but I haven't been on with you for a while now. Missed it.
No, it's been a while since the dynamic duo's been together.
Yeah, I'm happy to be back.
I know, and just sort of the viewers don't know this, but I actually can't even see you right now, so I'm talking to your little Skype profile picture, but without too many problems. So first up, what we're covering, we are Everton at the weekend. Saturday we've got Fulham away. It's the still no one's given me an answer to when was the last time Everton beat London teams back to back. Obviously this time we've got the opportunity to make that four times on the bounce that we beat a team from the capital. Everton have won their last three. Obviously Fulham have lost their last three miserably, and Tom, it doesn't take a genius to tell you that, and Evertonians will know from last season, you can't call a season where you go through three different managers good, can you?
No, not at all. They're not really doing that well, and Scott Parker's really, I suppose, if they've got anything to fight for whatsoever, it's Scott Parker fighting for his future for next season, whether he's going to be kept on in the Championship. But it doesn't look like they're fighting for anything at the moment. Since they've been relegated, they are rolling over a little bit. Even last week they got beat 4-1 against Watford, and they're just looking like they're just kind of just taking it, and it's unfortunate, but that's what's happening. It's not been a good season for them. Obviously, they've gone straight back down to the Championship. I've got a few good players there as well. You're saying they've got the likes of Mitrovic, who's been interested in Everton apparently, and Ryan Sessegnon come back to the Prem. We all thought he was going to do really well, but he hasn't really shown what we expected of him. And,
it's been really weird though, isn't it? Because out of the teams that were promoted from the Championship last season, obviously, the players the Fulham managed to attract. Obviously, there's that the attraction of playing in the capital city, being in and around London. But Andre Schürrle, a World Cup winner, Luciano Vieto, who was really highly thought after in Spain. We were talking a bit about Jean-Michel Seri as well, who Barcelona were caught, and he's ended up taking the decision to go to Fulham. And I remember earlier on in the season, I think it might have even been the first game of the season, I watched Fulham against Burnley. I think Fulham ended up winning 4-2. It was a really fascinating game. Those said players put on a real show. I think Jean-Michel Seri scored an absolute screamer too, and that set the tone for me. I remember before we played them at Goodison, I sat down with a lad from Fulham Focus, who was a Fulham fan podcast and that, and he was quite optimistic in that they had real quality players. And it just seemed like he was waiting on them to gel as a team. Obviously, that's not been the case, and it just kind of went south. They've ended up sacking Djukanovic in November. Got Ranieri, and obviously that was almost like a feel-good story within football that he's found his way back into Premier League management. But he didn't seem to be able to work his magic there. He's sacked after 106 days in the February, and obviously, as you said, they took a punt on appointing a former player as manager in Scott Parker. I was a huge fan of Scott Parker when he was a player, and just that kind of that tenacity, that grit, didn't stop running type of central midfielder. And I suppose that leadership that he showed on the pitch, that there was a hope that could transfer to the dressing room, almost similar to what happened at West Brom last season with them appointing Darren Moore. Obviously that hasn't worked out, again similar to West Brom, and they've been one of the two teams already confirmed relegated this season. And as far as Everton concerned, this really should be a formality. Will it be a formality though? Because it's Everton we're talking about here.
The formula at the moment, I can't see any. We've beaten the likes of Chelsea and Arsenal. We can't go to Fulham and lose. That'll just scratch all the good work we've done in the last few games. We've built up this momentum. We're starting to look like a really good side now. We're starting the squad togetherness and everything. And if we lose this, it's all going to be well, that was just a bit of bit of a fluke on it. So like we've got to win this if we want that consistency. So I wouldn't think of it as just it's one of them where we'll just win, because like if we win this, then people will think Everton are a good side now. But if we lose this, we think they've obviously just had a good game against the big sides. But this is our chance to properly push on now with the end of the season coming. Like we've obviously got to scrap for 7th place as well against two sides who are a point ahead of us. And if Watford last week as well can beat these 4-1 and we're fighting with them for 7th, if we can't get a result against these, that really says something for the fight for 7th place as well, I reckon.
I know, 100%. And, as you mentioned, Watford there, Leicester too. I think Leicester are the ones that are actually in 7th place at the minute. I think they've won the last 4 on the bounce under Brendan Rodgers now, who, after losing his first game, I think he's really had an influence over Leicester. Just to back up your point, I was looking at the head-to-heads, and, if it was ever more evident that Everton, it should be a formality in the last 62 meetings, Fulham have won 19, there's been 13 draws, and Everton have won 30. They've only beat us once in the last 9 years, and that was 2-1 in 2013 in the League Cup. As we know, we never really turn up in the League Cup anyway. But as you were saying there, mate, like if we lose this, or if we slip up and have a poor performance, and even if it's a point, that'd just be those big wins against Chelsea, West Ham, Arsenal, all undone. And like the way I even approached the question, like it should be a formality, but it's Everton. I remember in Martinez's first season, obviously we beat Arsenal in what looked to be a really decisive win in regard to getting that 4th place, finally getting Champions League. Then we ended up getting beat by Crystal Palace at home, and we lost that, and the entire season kind of fell undone. I know that it's not quite similar, it's not as a bigger scenario, because we, as you say, it's still only a battle for 7th place, but we beat Fulham. That puts us onto Manchester United, and obviously that keeps the momentum rolling, with 4 games left to play, including Manchester United. So, and I haven't talked to you about this, Tom, like in regards to getting that 7th place. Do you think it's, because I personally think it's going to end up in either Watford or Leicester, looking more likely to be Leicester now than anyone else, but do you think we can get it?
If we push on like we have been, I think we're starting to look like a proper top side, beating these top teams and hopefully be able to shove over the lower ones as well. So I think I still believe with the 7th best team in the Prem, when we're at our best, and we are better than Leicester, I reckon. Obviously they've strengthened quite well. That Tielemans looked like quite a player, to be fair, as well as Jamie Vardy. Jamie Vardy's hit form again, obviously, as well. So but I do believe if we're playing like this, like we have been the last few weeks, we are the 7th best team in the Prem, and if we've not left it too late to reclaim that spot, then I still believe we can get it. But whether we want European football next season is also a question, because obviously it messed up our league season under Koeman last year, and it kind of threw us off the rails a little bit. And if we don't have it, maybe we can't properly focus on the league and push on, but it might prove a distraction. Do we have the squad depth for it at the moment? Maybe we do, but like it's a question of whether we want European football as well, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. And as I say, obviously, what is it now? April. It's all about finishing the season strong, isn't it? And given the players' confidence ahead of the new season, even if we don't achieve a European spot, it's keeping that momentum going. As we've already proved that we can beat the top sides, and after beating West Ham, I think that was our first win in London in our last 10 attempts over. So that was like 2 years since we haven't won in London. So Saturday, 3:00, Everton have got the chance to do that again at Craven Cottage.
Fingers crossed, What do you think about predictions as well? Have you got any ideas?
I mean, as I say, I think it should be a formality. I'd like to see, continuing that type of performance as we showed against Arsenal, and I'd like to see, the same type of dominance as we displayed against West Ham. Gonna go for 3-0 Everton. What about yourself?
Solid. It'd be a decent win. That obviously they haven't got the strongest defence. It's been pretty inconsistent, but they have been playing like 5 at the back in recent weeks. But still, they played 5 at the back against Watford and still conceded 4 goals. So I can't see them being that strong in defence. Really, they have made quite a few errors this season, possibly more than any other team. So I do think we'll have a way past them on the weekend, and probably go with a similar scoreline to you. I'm going to go 2-0, be a little bit less optimistic, but if I was putting a bet on it, I'd go with 2-0, yeah.
Nice, and it's good to see that we're still keeping the confidence in our backline and goalkeeper, which is a segment that we're going to get onto next. Thank you very much for watching the video, the match preview for Saturday's game against Fulham. Make sure you check out the Toffee Blues, I guess, across all social media platforms, and if you want, I don't know, our social media tags there, take a nose at mine and Tom's, because I know Tom's on the ball with all the stuff that he produces and all the work that he does, so check us out there. On to the next video.